his son, and accused critics of making false claims about the Rivers political crisis. I mean, this was an interview he granted yesterday on Channel, and people were asking that what really is going on here? You drove to the governor's house at 1 a.m. In what capacity? What exactly are you doing? But let me take this story, and hopefully we'll have that video and we'll play both. Well, in the meantime, during the flag-off ceremony of a road project in Abuja, Wike criticized individuals who disrespect President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, saying that they are fortunate that he respects the rule of law. His remarks came after activist Omoyele Sowore called President Bola Ahmed Tinubu a criminal on X, which led to the Department of State Services filing charges against Sowore. Let's take a look.
This is a country where somebody who was will say Mr. President is a criminal. Nothing will happen. Nothing. You say all kinds of things you want to say, nothing will happen. No matter how you see people criticize Trump, have you ever seen any American citizen on the social media, on the public, say, look, our president is a criminal? Have you ever had that? But yeah, anybody can wake up in the morning and abuse president, and we're happy. You are lucky you have a president that believes in the rule of law. You are lucky. Continue to be lucky. There are those you will meet and you will be lucky again.
All right, this is a big conversation, but let us now play the video where Nyesom Wike said that he drove to Governor Sim Fubara's house around 1 a.m. to have a conversation about the Rivers LG election.
I, the Minister of FCT, the former governor of Rivers State, 1 a.m., drove to the governor's house. Sat down. Yes, what do we do? He said, look, it's okay. We'll go by that. There was nothing that was done that the governor was not a party to it. You see, even before the election, the governor traveled. He told me he will not be around. See, because my son had this engagement at the Zoom. The people just sit somewhere, begin to talk all kinds of things. They don't even know, simply because, all they were expecting is, they've not settled. Unfortunately, we are settled. Unfortunately, that gas turbine is no longer there. Where people will be collecting money is no longer there. There's no law that said you must resume work today. For example, this is a governor. I don't understand the way we operate. Okay? I was sworn in today, for example. Does not mean I'll go to office tomorrow.
All right, here he's saying there is no rule that says Wike must resume work or should have resumed work yesterday. But I believe we have our correspondent, Andy Omano, right now at the airport, a local airport in Port Harcourt, hoping to see if Governor Sim Fubara will be, arriving hopefully within an hour. They have reports that he's not in the state. But Rufai, what are your thoughts about, Wike's comments regarding Tinubu respecting the rule of law, and of course the fact that he actually, having this conversation with Governor Fubara during the elections and all of that?
So the question is, isn't it shocking to you, Orji, how confused our democracy has become?
Yes.
Why I call it demonstration of grace? You, Wike, was material and key to a state of emergency happening. So you were going to meet him for a local government election that was going to score in your favor. So what were you going to tell Fubara at 1 a.m.? Was he going to tell him that, I don't beat you, this local government, they come to me? But we saw the sham that the local government election was now. It's not where we had the miracle of Obiakpo, over 300,000 votes in local government elections. That's the joke we have become. He also said yesterday on air, Orji, that if they wanted to allow the state of emergency continue, they'll have continued. You know what that means? So, anyway, it's President Tinubu that keeps giving him all of this leeway. But maybe because of the agreement they both have, only God knows what is among them. Anyway, he delivered Rivers for APC. We all know how the BBC wrote against that governorship elections and how shambolic these elections, the presidential elections in Rivers State. Moving on, him that is talking that somebody abused the president and they are talking, when the allegations against him abusing the president, this is not the same Wiki that said for President Buhari then that will go at it shoulder to shoulder, that if they try to do anything against him, Nigeria will burn. Didn't Wiki say? You see, these politicians have come to realize, plus President Tinubu, plus very Wiki, when they are in opposition, they say something entirely different. When they are in government, they say something that him that is calling somebody. The constant refrain during Buhari's time was the fact that he was always taking jabs at Buhari. It's not during the Buhari time he called APC cancer. Is it not the same APC he's frolicking with now? Is it not the same cancer that is winning all the local governments in the state? So you can see these, our politicians. In all of this, you will have thought that Mr. Wike will have been more concerned about a more pressing issue, which is doctors going on strike in Abuja FCT that is there.
He said something about it there.
But that's not the main issue. The main issue was Fubara. He had to come and gloat that he's there, he's in charge, and all of that. So you see, but I have a word for them. Everything comes and goes. See, I think it was Dr. Abati, I think it was one of our Nigerian famous poets, if it's J.P. Clark, it is famous poem, Riverbed, riverbed, sitting all day long, on hook over grad, riverbed, riverbed, sing to me a song of all that's past, and say, will mother come back today? You shall not know, and you should not bother. Tides and market come and go, and so shall your mother. That's stream-side exchange.
All right.
Tides and market come and go. These people will come and go someday.
All right. Dr. Abati, speaking about the fact that, Wike was saying that anything goes in Nigeria, that it's not the same country that, somebody called the president a criminal and nothing will happen. Well, we know that the DSS has filed charges. But Daniel Bwala has defended the constitutional right of Sheyi Tinubu to contest for any political office, including Lagos State Governor, despite being President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's son. Speaking on the Clarity Zone broadcast, Bwala said that being the president's son should not disqualify anyone from participating in politics. He dismissed suggestion that Sheyi's charitable activities are politically motivated, arguing that people should not gaslight or blackmail him simply because of his family's background. Let's take a look.
Some people assumed that the way he's been doing a lot of this welfare, which he did not start yesterday, a long time, saying he want to become governor.
Yes.
Then I asked the question, is he not qualified
to be a governor? Even if he want to be governor.
They say no, because his father is a president. Then I asked the question. He has not said he's running, but I'm just saying, you don't gaslight or blackmail somebody, right? I said, even if his father is a president, what stops him from running?
Being a governor.
Absolutely.
He can even challenge his father in the election.
Exactly, in the next election.
Let us see how he will challenge his father.
Challenge his father
during the election.
He can even challenge. He should challenge his father.
Well, Ayo. Daniel Bwala also criticized Peter Obi's charitable activities, questioning the scale and quality of his interventions. Bwala claimed that despite being a multi-billionaire, Peter Obi has no record of floating a foundation, alleging that Peter Obi limits his charitable givings to only 5 million naira and has never given beyond 50 million naira. Bwala also accused Peter Obi of providing substandard infrastructure, specifically targeting his borehole projects in northern Nigeria. Let's take a look.
Peter Obi is a billionaire.
Yeah.
Multi-billionaire.
Yeah.
There is no record that Peter Obi has flouted a foundation. Because every man who believes he has a passion for humanity, every man that I've seen in terms of big men, they've flouted a foundation or a school.
Yeah.
Anything that has to do with public interest and fund it so they can meet the deed of the masses. Not a single one.
But there are good deeds that he does. Gives 100 million to this, to this, to his
He never
church.
give 100 million from Adam. I know he gives 5 million. He has ever given beyond 50. And even that 50 he gave, I can tell you the circumstances behind it. But let me tell you, he came to the northwest and north central that time after the election. And places where they didn't have water and he wanted to create borehole. Do you know the type of borehole Peter Obi gave them money to produce? Caveman days borehole. Where somebody will climb and be bouncing like this. Like a strip club. He'll be bouncing like that before water will come out.
caveman borehole. Let me take this reaction from Dave, who wrote, there is no mandatory law that donations towards charitable acts to support the cause of humanity must be rooted through foundations. I can't think of the foundation MKO Abiola floated during his lifetime, but his impact was felt across African continent. Go ahead. Yes.
Let me start with the first story around citizenship.
Yes.
Running for governorship
yes.
in Nigeria, in Lagos State for the son of the president, saying that he could even contest against his father. And absolutely true.
Yes.
Many of us know the criteria for being president of Nigeria. Must be a Nigerian citizen by birth, must be sponsored by a party and belong to a political party, and of course must have attained at least school cert or its equivalent. And what disqualifies you are, of course, must not be a convict, must not have been indicted in embezzlement or forgery, a number of these things that Sheyi Tinubu is not guilty of. So, as he said, he has a right to contest. However, we keep saying that the power lies in the hands of the people. I believe that when it comes to election time, the people should be enabled. And I use that word very, very intentionally. Should be given the enabling environment to choose who their preferred candidate will be. I say this because oftentimes I've talked about INEC being a critical stakeholder when it comes to free and fair elections and enabling the will of the people to prevail, and not just imposing perhaps a candidate on or a sham election whereby the will of the people is violated. And so if they can just give people an opportunity, if they want Sheyi Tinubu to be their governor, it's up to them. It's not Daniel Bwala that would advise the Lagosians how to vote or where to vote or who to vote, but the race will be tight because the number of prominent people have thrown in their hats in the ring. Let's see how that will pan out. 2027 is 2 years away. Now, going on to charity, absolutely spot on with that ex-post that there's no legislation around how people give. And I think it's quite rich coming from Daniel Bwala himself. Let him evaluate, have a self-evaluation, and tell us himself how he has contributed to society through his own giving or through foundations that he has floated. I think that's more important. I think it's rich for you to criticize the giving of another person who is trying to do good in Nigeria, whether it be Peter Obi, whether it be Remi Tinubu, whether it be Sheyi Tinubu, who's given anything, when you yourself haven't self-evaluated. I praise people who, under prevailing economic circumstances, have gone out of their way to take their personal wealth to enrich the lives of others. Instead of castigating, I think it's important to praise the efforts of individuals who have chosen to do good.
Rufai, I think you had empirical. You found something empirical.
Donated more than 50 million. This is September 2021. Igu Online. Peter Obi donates 100 million to Specialist Hospital for Nursing School. Okay. To Shanana Specialist Hospital, Usuka.
We've taken a lot of the stories. We've seen the
empirical facts.
Decides to give out of their personal wealth for the benefit of humanity.
Yes,
I think it's important to encourage that.
Bwala was factually incorrect. False.
Well, all right. Daniel. Kokoro ton jefo.
Kokoro tin jefo.
You know a follower.
Oh my goodness. Well, all right. Shall we now take another?